Hello, I'm Jojo the Song Witch, not to be confused with Jojo the Sandwich. Shout out to 6 Tomatoes for the comment on YouTube. Today I want to talk about what happens to the body after an intense or emotional experience, because there's actually a 4-step sequence that the body and brain move through. Okay, so you have this experience, something intense happens that triggers your nervous system. Once the experience is over or complete, there's a phase where the nervous system settles and the body catches up with what's happened. And that phase is called integration. After integration comes the meaning phase and then the action phase. Most of us were never taught this sequence, and we tend to move quickly from experience straight into meaning, skipping over integration. And that can work sometimes, but other times it creates tension, confusion, or exhaustion. So in this episode, I want to focus on the integration phase, what it is, what's happening in your body, and why it matters so much for our intuition.
This is Song Witch, alchemy for the modern mystic.
Okay, if you're new here, thank you so much for coming. I hope you find something helpful here in this space of song witchiness. And if you're returning, amazing. I'm so grateful you decided to come back for more. Thank you. Well, I'm just going to dive in. Okay, so what happens to our bodies after an emotional experience? Well, there's this little 4-step sequence that I want to show you. And here's a visual to help. The first step is that you have an experience of some kind. So something happens to cause you a lot of emotion or stress. And it's not just bad experiences. It could be something that brings insight or connection that elicits a strong emotional response as well. And then the nervous system is activated. After this comes the integration phase, and this is where the body processes what happened. You've probably heard of mind-body-spirit connection. That's a term that gets thrown around a lot, and that's kind of what this is referring to. So there was there's an external event that happens that your mind perceives in a certain way, causing emotion, then causing your body to also react. So you might think that you can just get by without your thoughts affecting your body, but that's not really practical. That's not how things work. Everything's connected. Your mind is connected to your body, is connected to spirit, if you believe in that. But science at least proves that the body and the mind are connected. Spirit tends to be up for debate still. And then after the integration phase comes the meaning or insight phase. And this is where understanding forms and lessons are recognized and named, and decisions make sense at this point. This phase works best after integration, after the body settles. And the next step is the action phase. This is where change actually happens. It's where choices are made and patterns shift and movement occurs. Most people try to jump straight from experience to meaning to action. And they completely skip over integration. But my work as an intuitive counselor honors this sequence, especially the integration phase, because it's the foundation for everything that follows. So let's talk about what integration is. It happens after you've been through an experience, like I said. The experience could be big, could be small, or somewhere in between. But after these experiences, we might feel momentum. Maybe we're charged up and we feel moved by the experience to act. But integration brings a different pace. It wants us to slow down, and it invites stillness and coherence. It's activated by grounding the body. During integration, your nervous system reorganizes and your body catches up to what you've just experienced. That can look like tension slowly releasing, or an emotional charge softening, and sleep patterns changing. When things feel slower or quieter, that's often the body finishing this process. Integration usually feels like simplicity and less urgency, and wanting fewer inputs, wanting some time to yourself, wanting time alone. And even though it can feel subtle, it's active. The body is doing real work during this phase. But sometimes integration needs more time. Sometimes it just takes longer. When that happens, the nervous system thinks that the experience is relevant right now, even though it already happened. It's perceiving danger and it's trying to protect you. So what this might look like day to day in your body It could be tight shoulders, jaw or chest. It could be gut or digestive issues, lingering fatigue, irritability or emotional sensitivity. It could be looping thoughts about the experience or feeling on edge without really having a clear reason why. For example, you've probably heard of the nervous system response called fight or flight. That's your body perceiving danger and your nervous system reacting, trying to protect you. We all have different nervous system responses, and some of us tend to lean toward one or the other. So there's fight or flight, there's fawn or freeze. I can't remember the others, but fight or flight's the most popular one that we hear about all the time. And that's because it's one that we acquired through evolution when we were cave people a long time ago, and there were predators after us, and we were constantly having to watch our back because we didn't know if there was going to be a predator around the corner, or maybe we were stressed because we didn't know if we were going to find food that day, and we were hungry. And so that's kind of a leftover piece of our evolution that still lingers with us. And luckily now science has proven that we can affect that nervous system response by calming our body, by grounding, by resting. So as I was saying, sometimes integration takes longer. For me, some things have taken months to fully integrate, and that's okay. It just depends on the experience. It depends on the person and what that experience means to you, how intense it is. It's okay to take the time to heal from something. Your body will decide when something is fully integrated or not. And once your body relaxes, then your nervous system settles. That might take hours, days, or longer, depending on the experience. But when integration is skipped, and it so often is, the meaning phase might feel rushed or inaccurate. Maybe you misinterpret the meaning completely, and then the action might feel forced or premature. Clarity comes after integration. And once you have clarity, then the true meaning of an experience can start to emerge. Now, there's a few things that you can do to help move the process along if you're feeling stuck. Believe it or not, rest is a great one. Gentle movement, going for walks, doing some light stretching or yoga. Warmth, snuggling up with a warm electric blanket and a cup of tea. Familiar routines, just cleaning your house or doing the day-to-day things that make you feel grounded. Maybe being around safe people helps you heal. And if you're able to take some time without pressure, that can help as well. But remember, you cannot rush this process. Your body knows if you're rushing. You can't fool it. When people say the phrase, sit with those feelings, this is what they're referring to. You've got to go through it to get to the other side. And on the other side is healing. We went to LA last November for the screening of the movie, The Age of Disclosure. And the next day I had this really intense experience that I call a spontaneous astral projection. I talk about all the details in episode 22, so I won't go into it here because it's what happened after the experience that matters. So my body had just gone through something super intense, and I was stuck in this loop of trying to make sense of it all because it wasn't intentional. It just came out of the blue. And that's why I call it a spontaneous astral projection. For about a week after that, I was completely scattered. I was trying to make more meaning of it. I kept looking for the lesson, and I didn't even realize that I was completely skipping over the integration phase. So I started doing some grounding work. I did some ritual, and I recognized that I had just been through this super intense experience and my body needed time to process what had happened. Honestly, this phase took a while, at least a few months. I kept thinking I was done integrating, and then I'd get overwhelmed or tense or scattered, and that's when I had to stop and let the integration process finish. And as I slowly released the need to understand, then clarity started to set in. It's crazy how when you let something go, it comes to you naturally. Now, I just want to touch on intuition and how integration supports it. Intuition runs through the nervous system, and people notice it in different ways. Those different ways are sometimes called the clair senses. They're the avenues that our intuition uses to communicate with us. I'll quickly go over the 4 main ones. You've probably heard of clairvoyance. That's when people see images before they understand the meaning behind them. There's clairaudience, and that's when people hear voices. There's clairsentience, which is having feelings. And then there's claircognizance, which is just having some sort of a knowing that something's going to happen or that something is happening. Even when intuition appears as images, emotions, or words, the body's still involved underneath. The nervous system's carrying the signal. And integration supports intuition because it helps give the body time to finish processing. It ensures that experiences land fully and that the nervous system settles. When that happens, the signal, or our intuition, gets clearer. When I rush past that phase, my intuition feels fuzzy. But when I respect the body's space, intuition feels grounded and reliable. So to close this out, I just want to say that this is the kind of work I do in intuitive counseling. It's helping people listen to the body's timing, recognizing when their system is still processing, and helping them trust those in-between phases instead of pushing past them. Those in-between phases are very important to honor. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you're in a phase where things feel slow and quiet, that's okay. You're allowed to stay there. Integration continues even when it feels subtle, and clarity unfolds in its own time. I'm Jojo the Song Witch, and this is Alchemy for the Modern Mystic. See you next time.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Song Witch podcast, Alchemy for the Modern Mystic.